Hello, everyone. My name is Rebecca Tevang. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a career coach for UCSC Career Success. I'm really excited that you can join us today for our LinkedIn workshop. We're lucky to have Ryan Zurbacos here from LinkedIn, who's going to give a presentation about how to use this awesome tool. Just for some logistics to get started, we will be recording this event. We also ask that if you have questions during the event, that you please put them in the Q&A box, and we'll address those at the end of the presentation. I also want to start with a land acknowledgement. So the land on which we gather here in Santa Cruz is the unceded territory of the Awaswas-speaking UP tribe. The Ama Mutsun tribal band, comprised of the descendants of indigenous people taken to missions Santa Cruz and San Juan Bautista during Spanish colonization of the Central Coast, is today working hard to restore traditional stewardship practices on these land and heal from historical trauma. So thank you so much. I'm going to start by introducing Gianna, who's a student here at UCSC, who would like to share a little bit about their experience working with LinkedIn. All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gianna. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm a third-year undergraduate student majoring in politics and critical race and ethnic studies. I wanted to share a little bit about my experience and perceptions of LinkedIn Learning. If you don't know what LinkedIn Learning is, it is a learning platform that helps anyone learn business software, technology, and creative skills to achieve personal and professional goals. And all UCSC students, staff, and faculty currently have free access to this platform. For example, I am really bad with money, and that's not a fun thing to admit, but it's really true. But LinkedIn Learning has multiple courses on personal budgeting and financial management that have been essential to me with helping me create new and better habits and monetary choices. One of my favorite things about LinkedIn Learning is that once you complete a course, that completion will show on your LinkedIn profile. And so this can be really helpful with catching the attention of recruiters and employers who are on LinkedIn searching for candidates. LinkedIn Learning also has courses about LinkedIn itself, so you can learn how to best use the platform to potentially find your future career. And that's another thing that we will be discussing on later in this session. The entire goal of LinkedIn Learning is to provide you with the support you need to achieve your intended goals. I highly recommend utilizing this incredible resource and invite you to please reach out to me with any questions, and I can put my email in the chat for everyone. But now I'm ready to introduce the main speaker for today, Ryan Zurbacos. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, my work is done here. Gianna said it all. So peace. No, I'm kidding. It is super exciting to be here to chat with you all today. I've been working for LinkedIn now for about 5 years. I'm actually in a sales capacity. I sell the product called LinkedIn Learning. So you all are now my client, which is super exciting. But I also have been doing these workshops ever since I got here. So, and the reason for that is pretty simple. For the first time in my life, I found a role that gives me a little bit of purpose. And that purpose is to try to spread the LinkedIn message to anybody that will listen. And, truth be told, I drank the Kool-Aid here, but this place is pretty amazing. And what we try to do is really different than what most people think of it. And truth be told, people that are mid-career, like myself, maybe I'm a little bit further along than mid-career. I don't really want to admit that. But anyhow, people that are mid-career and in their careers don't really necessarily need LinkedIn quite as much as students do. And so that's really why I'm here. It's because I want to let you all know and arm you with information and give you all the information that I have so that you can take it and say, I got it, I'm going to use it. If you don't use it, I get it. But instead of coming at LinkedIn from a perspective of, I don't understand it, I'm a little bit intimidated, which I totally get. Hopefully after today, you'll be a little bit less intimidated, you'll be a little bit more comfortable, and you'll be a little bit more compelled to use LinkedIn, because I truly believe with everything in me that LinkedIn is the best place for you to go for your career to have opportunity, economic opportunity. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'd love to get feedback from you all. I'd love to have this more conversational. So please feel free to drop questions in the chat anytime. I've got a couple of monitors up so I can answer your questions live. And I'm happy to be here for you all. I did drop a couple of links in the chat. I dropped a link to me, so y'all are more than welcome to connect with me. I also dropped a link to the UCSC link to actually sign up for LinkedIn Learning, because we'd love to have you do that. So we are going to cover basically 5 things today. The 5 takeaways from today. One is why you should be on LinkedIn. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Second thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about your profile. And I want you to not think of it as a resume. It is not a resume repository. It's a place for you to tell your story. So that's the second thing we're going to talk about. Third thing we're going to talk about, I'm going second thing. Second thing we're done. Third thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about growing your network. You all heard that saying, it's not just what you know, it's who you know. That's never been more true than it is today. It is all about who you know. And if you are like me when I was your age, I didn't have a network. I had nobody in my network. And so another reason I love doing this is because we're starting to try to level the playing field through social media. And as you all know, social media has changed a lot. It's changed everything, some for the better, some for the worse. But at LinkedIn, we're trying to make it for the better. So that's the third thing. Fourth thing we're going to cover real quickly is we're going to cover content, right? Social media wouldn't be social media if people didn't post content. Where would TikTok be if people didn't post any content? It wouldn't even exist, right? LinkedIn is a little bit different. It's more like Facebook in that way, but people post content on Facebook all the time. That's why you go to Facebook. Same thing with LinkedIn. Hopefully you don't go to Facebook very often, because what is up with Facebook these days? But that's an aside. I can have a conversation about Facebook another time. All right, and then the last thing we're going to talk about pretty quickly is LinkedIn Learning. Gianna did an awesome job of kind of framing why LinkedIn Learning is super important. But at the end of the day, I just want to show you the tool real quickly. It'll only take about 5 minutes, and answer any questions that you may have. So I used to do a long drawn out slide deck. I don't do slide decks anymore just because they are a little bit tedious, and we've all been zoomed out. So hopefully this will be a little bit more engaging than a slide deck. So let's start with why you should be on LinkedIn. We are the largest platform dedicated to economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. We have 780 million members worldwide. We're growing at a rate of 3 new members per second. We have 15 million job postings on LinkedIn. We place more people in new roles than any other platform. That's more than Monster, that's more than Indeed, that's more than Handshake, that's any other platform. There are more people that get jobs through LinkedIn than any place else. So it's kind of crazy when you think about how many things are out there for you, but it's just, a fact. I just want to kind of lay down the groundwork that LinkedIn is really where a lot of people are, especially after COVID. COVID has kind of changed the game, and so many people are adopting LinkedIn. So I'd love to actually ask some questions and have y'all drop them in the chat to, maybe get some interaction from y'all. So I'm going to ask a few questions. One of the things that people don't realize about LinkedIn is where we earn our income. Most people think LinkedIn gets most of their income from premium, LinkedIn Premium. Like, I'm here to sell you premium. Not here to sell you premium. I don't think you need it. I don't think you should pay for it. Everything I'm going to show you today is free. That's another thing I love about this company. So, but premium, we do make money from premium. Only 3% of our 780 million members pay premium. So that is not our largest revenue stream by a wide margin. A lot of other people think advertising is our largest revenue stream, like Facebook. No, Facebook primarily relies on advertising. Facebook, Insta, TikTok, that's all they are. All right, those social media platforms are there to make advertising dollars. That is not what LinkedIn is about. LinkedIn is not about a ton of advertising, although we do have an advertising model and we do advertise on LinkedIn, but it's not the same way. So what is our largest revenue source? It might surprise you to find out that the smart people that started LinkedIn decided to charge corporate America to find you. Let me reiterate that. We charge companies to use LinkedIn and to search LinkedIn and to message you. That's our business model. That's where we make most of our revenue. So given that, what percentage of corporate America, let's start with this. What percentage of Fortune 500 companies do you think use LinkedIn to find talent? What percentage of Fortune 500 companies do you think pay us to find you? Drop it in the chat. I'll be looking here. I should have some okay, Phil, this is not fair. Phil is cheating. I feel like Phil is cheating because the first person drops in there 100%. Wow. I think it's pronounced Shifan. You are right on target as well. It is 100%. Every single Fortune 500 company is using LinkedIn and paying LinkedIn to find talent. What do you think the percentage of corporate recruiters are that are using LinkedIn? What percentage of corporate recruiters? Someone who drop in the chat. What do you think? 100% of Fortune 500 companies. It's not 100%. It is more like 90%. 90% of corporate recruiters are using LinkedIn. So if that's the truth, right, which that is the fact, this is a good reason for you all to be on LinkedIn, right? Now, here's another thing I want you to know, right? I used to be doing these workshops and spend a ton of time on like, here's how you create a profile. But at the end of the day, nobody taught you how to use use Insta or Facebook or TikTok, right? You just learned it on your own because you wanted to be there. This is what I'm trying to, I want to try to compel you, because LinkedIn is not nearly as fun as those platforms, no doubt. But LinkedIn is designed to make you money, to help you get a job. So hopefully after today, you will go ahead and go after it. And as Gianna said, you can go on to LinkedIn Learning, and we've got courses that will teach you how to do some of the things that you may be confused about, right? So today is really going to be about not how to do it. I'm going to tell you why and show you other people that are doing it so you can see kind of examples. But really what I want you to know is that your control is your destiny is controlled in your fingertips, right? It's in the palm of your hands, literally in your phone. And so hopefully after today, you'll make LinkedIn more of a daily destination. Now, I'm not talking about, again, TikTok time and IG time, right? I mean, I'm on TikTok way too much, which I blame my daughter for that one. She's a sophomore in college right now too. I was perfectly fine not on TikTok until she started sending me all these cool videos. And then now I'm hooked on that stupid platform. So I don't blame you if you're on TikTok a lot, but if you carve out a little bit of that TikTok time and put 15 minutes of a day of LinkedIn time, guarantee you it's going to be a different. Guarantee you. Because one other thing you're facing here, and I'll drop this question in the chat. We have 15 million jobs right now. How many people do you think are applying, or how many applications cycle through LinkedIn on a weekly basis? Every single week for those 15 million jobs. How many applications for 15 million? What do you think? Drop it in the chat. $15 million jobs. How many applications? How many people apply? I really need to get some Jeopardy music going on here. 7 million. Thanks, Vanessa, for breaking the ice. That is very cool. 7 million is low, though. Alberto, 100K is really low. Another couple of guesses. It's higher than 7 million. All right, nobody's guessing. 10 million. Thank you. 10 million. Good guesses. Still low. It is actually 50 million. Luis, right on target. 50 million people apply every single week for 15 million jobs. That adds up to over 2 billion people a year applying for an average of 15 million jobs. So again, why do I bring this up? It's because recruiters and hiring managers are inundated. They are overwhelmed with people that are qualified for their positions. So what are people looking for? I actually talked to a vice president of talent for this talent agency. All his company does is place talent across the country. And he told me these words that are just brilliant. He said that what people are looking for now is attitude and aptitude. Attitude, not only aptitude, not only your experiences, but also your attitude. You're not going to find that on any other platform except LinkedIn. So what people are doing is that they're getting all of these resumes and all of these applications and all of these applicants. And then most hiring managers and most recruiters are going to LinkedIn to try to find out who you are as a person. And that is what we're going to talk about today. That is why you should be on LinkedIn and why you should take time to build your brand on LinkedIn, because everybody is going to go to LinkedIn before they interview you. Just about everybody, right? Now it's pretty much so we've reached that critical mass where that's where people go. All right, so enough of me talking. Let's jump into LinkedIn right now. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on. Make sure I've got the right one here. Are y'all looking at my LinkedIn feed? Somebody going to drop in the chat. Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's start with LinkedIn. Let's start with, I'm going to just pull up Bridget. So Bridget, now we're going to talk about the second thing, which is your profile and your story. So this is Bridget. I want to introduce you to Bridget. And she is a current student at Cal State Long Beach. You can see her profile picture and her background photo, think about this as an opportunity for you to start your story and build your brand. What do you want recruiters to think about you when they land on your page? And that is the key, right? That is all about your attitude. That is all about your personality. That is all about your fit, your corporate fit. Are you a culture fit for our organization? This information and the way you present yourself here is going to differentiate yourself from the 95% of people on LinkedIn that just put resume information. So let's take a look at Bridget's. First of all, her profile picture. I want you to know that you do not need a professional picture. It does not need to be a headshot like a professional photograph. Most people don't have the ability to do that. And we don't think that that's necessary. You can take your phone, take a selfie, put it on portrait mode if you want to. It really just needs to be a headshot. You don't have to be in a blazer or a blouse or a shirt and a tie. You don't need to do that. But you do need a headshot. Background photo. This is an opportunity for you to start giving the reader a little bit of an idea of who you are personality-wise, right? Take a look at Bridget's here. I love her background photo. She pulls a quote. She says, "It's time to look inward and start asking yourself the big question for you and what do you want?" Now, I've been showing Bridget's profile for a long time, and I never read the line below it because I am not a voracious reader. And my daughter looked at it. She's like, "Oh my God." That's a quote from Uncle Iroh from Avatar, The Last Airbender, which she loved. I love that this is, immediately showing her personality. Those that are in the know understand that. And those that aren't, they aren't, right? But it's a really cool way for her to showcase her personality from the first thing that you land on her page. Now, if you are like me and you're not super creative, you can go to your own profile. I'm going to click on my profile right here. And I want you to see my background photo in this pencil right here. You just click on this pencil. Most people don't realize when you click on change photo that we actually, along with allowing you to upload your own background photo, we actually have now provided a ton of background images for you to use. So you can use these 3 off the shelf, or you can use this that shows that you're an ally to the Asian community, an ally to the Black Lives Matter community, or ally to the LGBTQ community. So now you really don't have an excuse not to have a background photo. Again, whatever you feel comfortable with, but just making it easy for you to give the reader an idea of who you are personality-wise as soon as they land on your page. Now, the other thing that a lot of people do, they miss this opportunity on the headline to talk about themselves in a way that is more compelling than just being like, I'm going to UCSC and this is my degree, or I'm going to UCSC and here's what I do currently. That is right here. That's right here. It's redundant. So what you can do here is you can talk aspirationally, aspiring graphic designer, aspiring marketer, looking to make an impact in XYZ, industry, or this is where you can take your keywords that you're looking for, like, hardworking, disciplined, compassionate leader, whatever you want to put, like just what would describe you in 3 words, put that right there. So we're going to go down a little bit further and we're going to talk now about the about section. This is very, very, it's integral to your success on LinkedIn, not necessarily success, but your ability to get people to reach out to you and give you a shot, right? This is what I'm hoping you get from LinkedIn is you get opportunity. And when you're competing today in 2021, especially in California, especially in the Bay Area, you're competing now not only with people that live right down the street, you're competing with people all over the world now because of COVID, because you can live basically anywhere, which is cool in some areas, but that's not cool in other ways, right? So the competition is even more stiff than it ever was before. So what you can do with your about section is you can start, putting yourself above the crowd by putting yourself out there. So let's take a look at what Bridget says. She says, complacency is a continuous struggle that we all have to fight. She starts out with a quote by Jack Nicklaus. And then she goes into talking about how she felt personally complacent and lost in her career and knowing she had to change her habits and overcoming that, right? When you think about attitude, right? What that VP of hiring for a national company was talking about, that recruiters are looking for, what's the first thing you see about LinkedIn about Bridget? You see her attitude. Your experiences are what they are, right? If you've been a barista, you've been a server, those are all important. If you haven't had to work through college and you've worked your way through, all of that is relative experience, but that is what it is. Your personality is going to differentiate from the next person. I have a rhetorical question for you, since I can't see anybody's faces, but can I train any one of you on how to use Microsoft Excel or a pivot table? Yeah. But can I train you to be a positive person? Can I train you to have gratitude? Can I train you to be resilient? No, I can't. You either are or you aren't. And so my thing is, those of you that are out there that are looking to put themselves in that position, you can talk about who you are as a person to give the reader an opportunity to get to know who you are. And that's what the about section is all about. It is not supposed to be a cover letter. Quite frankly, this part of the workshop and this part of LinkedIn is going to take the most time. It's going to take you a little while to knock this out. It's not going to happen in a minute or two. It's going to take you maybe an hour or two. You might want to bounce it off your friends. You've got career counselors that will be more than happy to help you. I'm volunteering you all, but I hope that's okay. But you've got career counselors that would love to help you. You can bounce it off of them, right? You've got resources. If you are like me and I'm a terrible writer, I rely on my wife and my brother and my daughter, fantastic writers. Take a little bit of time, but here's the cool thing. Once you've drawn up your about section and once you've spent a couple hours on your profile, it's good to go. You don't have to change it for years because you are who you are, right? It's not just about your work experience. It's about your life experience as well. All right. Cool. Rebecca's saying you can make an appointment with her. Yes. Okay. Now, one other thing I want to talk about on the profile is the feature section. The featured section is designed to allow you to feature posts that you put on LinkedIn, feature a video of yourself if you want to. Like, I've rarely seen anybody take advantage of this, but if you record a video of yourself on LinkedIn about where you want to go with your career, that is telling a story. That's putting yourself out there, right? Every single person wants to be known as a hard worker, as dedicated, as an asset to a company. That's what you are, right? You are the person that is the differentiator, right? That's the difference. Resumes don't showcase that, but your words and your actions, they can showcase that. That's the point of LinkedIn. If you take 2 hours or 3 hours to work on your profile, it shows. You don't have to say I'm hardworking. You've proven it by taking time to work on your profile when most people don't. See what I'm saying? The other thing is that when you're posting content or you've done a portfolio project, right? Let's say, and let me show you another profile here. Tammy is a great profile. Tammy is a current student as well. You can see her background photo. You can see she's a student aiming to tell stories through technology, which is really cool. And I love her about section here. She says, when I was 7, Harry Potter taught me English when I first immigrated to the Bay Area. Then she talks about being a passionate learner, which, by the way, every company is looking for a learner. Every company is looking for somebody with a growth mindset because stuff is changing faster than it ever has before. So the knowledge that you have now coming out of college, I mean, it's not enough, right? I mean, we just have to be honest about the fact that you go to school to learn and get educated. You need your degree. You need to know, you need critical thinking. Everything that you're learning in college is super, super important. But the college system wasn't designed to give you the exact skills you need for that job, right? That's where a LinkedIn can come in and supplement that and showcase what you've done and also showcase some of the work you've done in school. So in this case, right, in addition to going into her personal life and where she wants to go in her career, Tammy's in marketing. And so she's showing some of her marketing projects to future employers. Like, this is what I'm talking about. And now you can see, by the way, this is brand new. She's an incoming partnership intern at Paramount Pictures, right? This is opportunity is going to come their way. Every student that I'm showing you, showcasing you, by the way, I've talked to, I know, and they've allowed me to share their profiles to anybody because, it's important. I feel like it's more important than me just saying, this is what you need to do. I'd rather show you students that are doing it so you can see that the success happens out there when you take advantage of LinkedIn. So I'm going to pause there to see if anybody has any questions, or Gianna, I know you've had some success on LinkedIn. If you want to give your 2 cents while I take a sip, it's up to you all. All right. So no questions so far. Okay. No worries. All right. Hopefully I'm not boring you to tears. If I am boring you to tears, please don't tell me that I'm boring you to tears because I will be sad. All right, Alberto, should the featured content be just one area of expertise? That's a really good question. No, the featured section is yours to feature whatever you'd like, right? So let's say you wanted to take one of these and you wanted to post a video about here's who I am today, here's what I want to go in my career, right? Which I think would be huge. I think everybody should do it. Another thing could be, here's a project that I've done, right? You put a project up there that you've done. That could be completely different, or posts that you've done. So it doesn't really need to showcase one area of expertise. I think anything that you're featuring is a positive just because you're putting yourself out there. That's all it is. It's what do you want people to see about you when they get to your profile page. So I don't want you to overthink it. And by the way, I don't want you to think that you have to be an expert either, right? Because that's a pretty high bar. I'm an expert now at LinkedIn because I've been here and I've worked here for a long time. I wouldn't even consider myself expert in sales. I have knowledge of sales because I've been doing it for a long time as well. But when I'm trying to think of myself in your shoes, where you may be an expert in. So it's where do you have industry knowledge and where do you think you can contribute? That's really what I would talk about. Cool. I didn't just realize there's a Q&A feature as well, so I just pulled that up. I got a question about our 15 million job postings that haven't been filed yet, or 15 million all over time. So the 15 million job postings have not been filled exactly. So 15 million job postings are rolling. So when a job gets filled, a post gets pulled down, another one pulls up. So right now, on average, we have about 15 million jobs. How do you show restaurant jobs as a plus to companies that are interested in your experience as a server? Ooh, that is a really good one. I'm going to show you right now what I think. So I'm going to show you Allie. Allie is a current student as well here. And look at what she did. Here's what I think you should do in your experience section. You should not treat it as a resume. And I know a lot of people are saying you should do it as a resume and you can upload your resume, and that's okay. I'm not saying it's terrible, but what I am saying is that that's what everybody does. And so what I want you to do is I want you to showcase what you've learned from that job. What are the traits and what are the skills that you've learned from that are applicable anywhere? So let's take a look at what Allie wrote about being a hostess. She says, working as a hostess taught me an unparalleled amount of customer service and communication skills. It especially helped me learning how to read people's situations, which has been useful in knowing how to best approach someone or something. Effective communications was an essential part of Hannah's success and training, and it's continue to prove beneficial, especially when working in teams. She hit off communication, she hit off customer service, she hit off working in teams, right? These are all things that you need to know. Communication is one of the most important skills that you need to have in any job. And most people are like, I know how to communicate. No. When you're a server, and you know as a server, right? Everybody should probably be a server one time in their life because you have to deal with knuckleheads that order something and then ask for something different. You have to, I would even add in there, if you're a server dealing with difficult people, crisis, whatever it is, right? That's how you show people that you're learning skills as a server that are gonna serve you, no pun intended, in any role that you do. So I hope that answers your question there. Does it look bad to not have anything there? Are you talking about, Brandy, in the feature? Okay, you said in the feature section. No, it doesn't look bad. It's just, I think, a missed opportunity that you have to make your profile a little bit more three-dimensional than what a resume would look like. So again, all of this is just information you get to absorb, and you get to decide what you want to do with it. Now, I will tell you, one easy way to add content to the featured section is if you're posting content on LinkedIn, you can link to that. So let's say you put a post up there. Let's say you get accepted to an internship. You should post that on LinkedIn. Hey, I got accepted to this internship, blah, 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 right? What kind of process did you go through? Things like that. I think it's okay to I don't want to say brag about it, but if you're not going to advocate for yourself and you're not going to market yourself, who's going to market for you? Who's going to market you for you? Who's going to advocate for you other than you? So I want you to think about LinkedIn as your place to say, here's what I'm doing and here's where I want to go in my career. And so that you can put in the featured section as well. All right. Let's see. How do you prove your profile strengths? What should we aim for? So your profile strength is really about completing the profile. And so what I mean by that is that taking all of these sections, and I just went through the most important one. Here's the about section. And you can see here, Allie doesn't have a featured section. That's okay. No big deal. But when you are in the actual experience section, elaborating on your experience, writing it in story format or in long form format instead of bullets, you can do bullets if you want to. I think you should do a combination of the two because I think we get a lot of soft skills. We get a lot of, now the terms are human skills from every job that we get. So I think it's really important for you to just really just complete the profile with as much information as possible. Remember, LinkedIn is a fully searchable database. So while resumes literally try to put you in an 8.5 by 11-inch rectangle, LinkedIn is completely different than that because no one is going to read every word of your profile. No one's going to read every word of your resume either, right? They're just looking for keywords. Same thing on LinkedIn. You can do keyword searches on anything in LinkedIn. And so people might scroll through your profile and see a couple things and read it. So that's the deal. You just want to have a complete profile. The more complete it is, the more information that's in there. What is that telling the hiring manager? It tells them you care. It tells them that you work hard. You don't have to say I work hard. You can show it. So that's what I would do. If you are younger, right? I normally don't show my daughter's profile, but I'm going to show you my daughter's because she is a sophomore at UC Santa Barbara. And you can see her background photo here, and she's got a great about section and all that other good stuff. But I want to show you, she's added some of the stuff that she did in high school and in middle school that is important, right? Just to show a complete picture while she's in college. Now, the more work experience that she gets, obviously this stuff is going to drop off and she's going to take it off. But if you're, 17 or 18 and right in college right now, and you're like, dude, my profile doesn't have a lot of information, put your relevant volunteer experience in there. Put your relevant experience in there because that's going to help you get internships. This cannot hurt you. This will not hurt you to put it in there. It will only help you. Awesome. All right. Should the featured content be just would in progress projects a good idea to put in there for your featured section? It's really up to you what you want to put in your featured section. We also do have, by the way, most people don't realize this, but in your profile, you can click on add section and you can click on accomplishments. And we actually have projects right here. So you can actually add projects and you can do, I am currently working on this project. So yes, you can do in progress projects in your profile. How many people knew that? How cool is that? So again, LinkedIn is just trying to give you more and more opportunity to put yourself out there. All right, awesome questions. Thank you so much. So showing your high school activities when you're about to graduate college not seen to be excessive. I don't think it's excessive. I would love to hear from the career counselors that are on the horn here because you all do a lot more than I do. At the end of the day, I don't think everybody's going to be reading your entire portfolio here. Remember, it is a fully searchable database. So you never know when you drop a keyword into one of your older experiences that will pull up on your search result, right? They're going to be searching for people with certain skills, and that's the deal. So I don't know. Did anybody want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. With LinkedIn, I think it's fine if you're comfortable sharing some of the stuff that you worked on in high school. Typically, we say to take it off the resume because you've only got a page, but LinkedIn is very different and it's used for a different purpose. So I think
Awesome.
If it's relevant, keep it on there. If you're embarrassed about it or you don't want to keep it on there, no need.
Right. I, for one, am embarrassed about my high school experience, but that's just because I was a knucklehead. No, I'm kidding. No, thanks for that, Rebecca. I appreciate it. Okay, so we're flying through here. A couple other things I want to talk about. I want to talk about growing your network now because it's super, super important. So somebody else just asked, do you apply to jobs or wait to be contacted? You do. I do not recommend you just wait to be contacted, right? It's not the best system in the world now because anybody can apply to any job, but you have to apply to jobs. You just got to apply. You got to apply to Handshake. You got to apply to Indeed. It's a numbers game. When I'm in sales, right? I'm going out. I'm not just waiting for people to come to me and give me business, right? I'm going out actively asking for it. You got to do the same, right? So you've got to do the same. But what's beautiful about LinkedIn is that you can be active and you can also be passive about it, and have recruiters reach out to you, right? So that's the cool thing. So really good question. I do think you need to apply to jobs, which is going to lead to my next thing here. So let's do UCSC. Let's see if it pulls up here. Cool, it does. So one thing that we're doing to level the playing field is we are putting a lot of information here on LinkedIn for free so that you can connect to opportunity. 70% of jobs are found through a network. 70% of jobs are found through a network. So when I tell you to grow your network, it is super, super important to do that. I just had a question in the chat that says you have a huge gap in work. How do I help myself and angle the large gap? This kit comes up all the time, Dylan. Appreciate your honesty, your authenticity here. I know this is not a newsflash to you. You are not the first person that's had a job gap in the world, right? So that question is going to come up in your interview for sure. So what I would do is I would work with your career counselors, I would work with your peers to come up with a narrative that best describes why you have that gap. What were you doing during that time? What did you learn during that time? Like things like that. I would even head on and put that in the about section, right? I would confront that because what you have the opportunity to do on LinkedIn is you have the opportunity to say, when somebody interviews me, when somebody looks at my profile, I want them to know this about me. Instead of them guessing who you are as a person, they get to know who you are as a person. As my dad used to say, warts and all. We're not perfect. And you can be like, here's why I did it. Here's why I had the gap. Here's what I was going through. Here's what I've learned. So that's what I would do for you, man. I would put it out front and center. Talk with some professionals about how, making sure that it comes across the right way. And then you're in. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about hiding it. I say don't hide those things. I say own them. That's just my opinion. Okay, so getting over here to the UC Santa Cruz page, what you see here is you've got 111,000 people that have affiliated with UC Santa Cruz on LinkedIn. So you can click on this alumni tab. I'm sure the career counselors know all about this. This allows you to see where they live in the country, where they work. You see what they do for a living and what they studied. Now, all of this is about trying to connect you to jobs, right? It's connecting you to opportunity. Now, your alumni, you have a lot of alumni at some great places. So if you're looking at the FANG companies, you're good to go, right? But I'd love for somebody to drop in the chat, a company that's not on this list so I can show you how to use it. So, anybody interested in working at a company that they'd like me to look up here and see if we have an alumni? Nature Conservancy. Vanessa, you're going to throw Nature Conservancy. My goodness, this is a tough one. Let's see. All right, Nature. All right, drum roll, please. Do we have anybody? Holy 29 people. 29 people are working at the Nature Conservancy. I'm not very good at spelling right now or speaking. So what you do down here is you scroll down to the bottom and this person is the CEO, went to your school. Wow. Okay. I don't know if you knew that, Vanessa, but dang, that is crazy. So you can click on connect, click on add a note. You're going to want to say you are a current student, right? I'm a current student. Go Slugs or Banana Slugs or whatever you say, right? You can say I'm a current student, why I'm reaching out. That is it. Super easy. Remember when I said take 15 minutes a day? You can take 15 minutes a day just reaching out to 5 people. It doesn't take 15 minutes to find 5 people. I found 29 people in 10 seconds. So any company that you're interested in, you can click over here. Blizzard, I'm sure, has it. Boom, Blizzard. There are 30 people that work at Blizzard. Airbnb, NPR, all of these. You want to grow your network with people that are working at that company. You're not going to be asking them for a job, in my opinion. I don't think that's a good idea. When you're reaching out to recruiters, think recruiters are working for the company. They're not really there for you and they're super busy. So you could try, but you're usually not going to hear anything from them. The bottom line is the more you put yourself out there, the more likely you're going to grow your network. And it's all about growing your network, your first degree connections. First degree connection, if you have a first degree connection at the job at which you apply, you're twice as likely to get that job, right? So if, in this case, Vanessa, you connect with me and you apply at LinkedIn, you twice the chance just because we're connected. So really important to do that. All right. Somebody asked, is creating our LinkedIn profile comparable to creating a curriculum? I don't know what that is. I apologize. I would need some help from the panelists on that question about a curriculum vitae. Sorry, I'm not familiar with that. Okay. One other thing I want to show you here real quickly is I want to show you another student. This is Mike. I met Mike when he was going to a community college here in Orange County. He was going to Saddleback, and I did this workshop for them in 2018. I did it again in 2019, and he introduced himself to me in 2019, and he said he just wanted to tell me his story, which was awesome. And he said that when he went to my workshop in 2018, he had a LinkedIn profile, didn't know what to do with it, had 2 people in his network. He's like, when I left your workshop, I just made it my mission to grow my network. He said it took him 3 months to go from 2 people to over 500. And about a month after he got to that milestone, he actually was recruited by Cengage. They reached out to him. They said, we think you'd be a good fit. You should apply for this job for a paid campus ambassador position. And he's got a guaranteed job when he graduates, Cal State Fullerton. Now, it doesn't happen always that way, but the bottom line is it can. That's the deal, right? So growing your network is super, super important. Let me show you Vanessa. Vanessa is, she graduated from Cal State Long Beach a couple years ago, and I mentored her. I've kept in touch with her for a long time. She got this job and she got this job, both through LinkedIn, both through her first degree connections. She didn't know them very well, but when she got offered the interview, by the way, somebody looking at Blizzard, she actually was a contractor over at Blizzard. She was able to have them coach her through the interview process. And that's as easy as it is. So very, very important to grow your network. The more people in your network, the more opportunity you have, period. Okay, do we put hobbies on our profile? Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. Again, you guys are asking questions that I normally don't get, which is great. I'm gonna show you my brother's profile because I want to show you what he's done here as far as hobbies are concerned. He says that he's a lifelong learner, that he loves podcasting, hockey, acting, photography. He wrote a 50,000 word novel. He says, I'm a karaoke junkie, but most importantly of all, I'm universally relied upon as the guy who picks the restaurants. Today, he's learning how to play the guitar. When he changed his profile to this, which he did a year ago, he has so many people reaching out to him. Literally, a recruiter reached out to him, and I'm not kidding you all, the next day and said, I love your profile, would love for you to work with us. So yes, put your hobbies in there because you never know when the hiring manager likes to do what you like to do. Cool. Is LinkedIn a numbers game when it comes to connections or more quality? Now, I think that listen, here's my deal. It would be great to have quality connections, every single person you're connected to. Yes, but let's think about social media influencers. Are all of their followers quality followers? No. Do they care? No, because social media is about your influence, and your influence is a direct correlation on how many people are in your network. It doesn't matter who is in your network, right? You might want to connect with me because I work for LinkedIn, and that's a nationally known company, and that's great. But what if you didn't know, like previously I worked for a company called Skillsoft, and you didn't know it was in ed tech, right? I did the same job, but I worked for a company nobody heard of. And you're like, I don't want to connect with him because he sells education software and I want to do something different. I want to work. Well, you don't know how many people are in my network. My wife, my brother, all these other people. That's what you're talking about. So your second and third and fourth degree connections are the most important ones because that's how social media works. That's why social media is so powerful, why it's changed the game on everything, because it's opened up a world of opportunity where the regular person can be connected to tens of thousands of people. The way degrees of connection work real quickly. So I'm just going to look at some of the names that are in chat here. So let's say I'm connected to Valeria. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So I'm connected to Valeria. Valeria, she and I are first degree connections. Then Valeria's connected to Luis. Luis and me, second degree, right? And then Luis is connected to Vanessa, me and Vanessa, third degree connection. If I'm posting content, which we're going to talk about now, and Valeria sees it, puts it on the profile, then Luis can see it. He likes it or comments on it or whatever, and then Vanessa has a chance to see it. And Vanessa could be a CEO or could be a hiring manager. That's why having more people in your network is better than less. Okay, cool. I think I've answered all the questions. How do you show restaurant jobs as a plus to companies that are interested in your experience as a server? I think I covered that one where.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think I covered that one. Cool. Do y'all want to add any context before I go to the next one, panelists? I want to make sure that I'm giving time for you all. Okay, I will take that as a no. All right. Next thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about posting content. So as you can see here, posting content is going to really accelerate the opportunity that you get on LinkedIn. It's going to accelerate how many people know of you and accelerate how many people look at your profile. And that's really, at the end of the day, what it's all about. It's marketing yourself. Now, the hardest thing to do is start to post content. So the easiest thing to do is to start is just like content or comment on content. But to start a post is super easy. You can just start talking about whatever you want. So in this case, let's say you want to post that, UC Santa Cruz has access to LinkedIn Learning. You can actually copy that URL and you can actually post it in your feed and you can put it up there, right? Now, in this case, there's no thumbnail image, so that kind of stinks, but normally there would be a thumbnail image here. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You can tag people in it as well. So if I wanted here to tag Ali, I could do that. You can do hashtags, right? LinkedIn tips, whatever you want to do, just like you would on other social media platforms. This is what most people don't realize, most students don't realize, is that you have the opportunity to use this as social media. So one of the students that I follow, let me just share with you this, and I'll drop it in the chat for everybody to see. She posted this the other day, which I thought was really cool and really appropriate, really apropos. And so what she did is she put a post on 5 reasons you need to be posting on LinkedIn. And this is from a student's perspective, right? So she wrote this blog. I love this blog, and I shared this blog post. So again, I'm going to drop it in the chat so you all can see it. But basically, this is what she writes. Posting on LinkedIn helps you build your brand. It helps your stack ranking on Google. Because remember what I said, even people that aren't using LinkedIn are using LinkedIn. They're gonna do a Google search on you. More than likely, they're gonna do Google search on you to see who you are before they interview you. And you want them to find LinkedIn. You don't want them to find IG, okay? More than likely, you don't want them to go to your Instagram profile first. Industry news. If you're on LinkedIn and you're reading industry content, you can post about that. This helps maintain your network. It helps you contribute to industry. It totally differentiates you from the next student that's not posting any content. Another thing to note, that when you are on LinkedIn, that the amount of time that you spend on LinkedIn is getting tracked for recruiters. Recruiters asked us for that metric. So when they pull up a search result, a search query, they put a search query out there and they pull up results. One of the metrics that they use to decide who they're going to interview is how much time the person spends on LinkedIn. And it makes sense, because if you're on LinkedIn as a college student once a week or every other day, you're doing more than what most college students do. Again, you're using actions instead of using words. You're using actions to show who you are as a person and what kind of hire you'll be. That's easier to quantify than just being like, is this person just talking a big game? Types of content you can post. You can share industry news. You can post insights from a lecture, right? I know you all are doing critical thinking. I know you all are working very hard. I'm sure you're learning stuff on campus at school right now that you can share on LinkedIn. I'm sure of that. All right. So I've been asked to, can you please show how you create a post? So it's really simple. So click on LinkedIn, you go into your feed right here. In your feed, just click on start a post. You can do the same thing on your phone, just tap on start a post, and then you can do whatever you want. So in this case, let's say you wanted to share this article, or you wanted to post this article that Madison wrote. You just copy the URL and then check it out. Here is her blog post. And then you go and you cut this out because you don't need this. And you can, I just read this article, and then at, Sam, what do you think? Whatever you want to say, right? And then you can do your hashtags if you want to do hashtag, news of the day, whatever. All right. So that's how you post content on LinkedIn. You can add video content. You can post your documents. You can post pictures. So let me show you a good example. Evelyn is a student that I mentor, and she is currently going to college right now. And she did this short post. Every one of you should do this if you have an internship. You should just put a post on LinkedIn once you're done with the internship or during the internship, thanking people for the internship and talking about the experiences that you've learned, right? That should be a no-brainer. Everybody should do that if you're doing an internship. But what Evelyn did here differently is that she took a picture of herself. When you take a picture of yourself, you get 5 times more views. If you do a video of yourself, you get 10 times more views. So basically all she did is she talked about her internship, and then she also tagged all of her colleagues at the company, and she got 200 impressions. This equates to well over 5,000 views of this, just by saying, thanks for the internship. Super easy. All right. If you get an internship at a prestigious company, how would you announce it and what would it entail? So let me show you what you would do here. Let me just show you Lillian. So Lillian is a student that I know, and this is exactly how she did it. We're going to go to her activity, and we're going to go to her posts, and this is how she did it. Boom, I did it. I'll be an NVIDIA digital marketing intern this summer. My road was, this is a perfect post. Look how many internships she's rejected from. Rejected, rejection. She talks about overcoming her rejection, and the road is not always smooth, and she's going to NVIDIA. I mean, this is just a perfect post. So that's how I would do it. I would try to color it, just talk about the gratitude that you have, the work it took you to get there, and how excited you are for the opportunity. Simple. All right. Does the amount of time you spend on LinkedIn show up to recruiters also in time spent on LinkedIn learning? Ooh, great question. No, it doesn't. LinkedIn Learning is a separate platform, although I'm going to talk to our team about that because I think that's brilliant. No, LinkedIn Learning is a separate platform. Unfortunately, those don't go together. All right, real quickly, I've only got a couple of minutes left, and I want to cover LinkedIn Learning just for a second or two. Now, a couple of things about LinkedIn Learning. When you log into LinkedIn Learning, you have the ability to connect your LinkedIn profile. I highly recommend you do so because it's going to push content to LinkedIn Learning that's more appropriate for you, where you want to go in your career. And then the other thing is that once you get done with the content, you actually can post it on your LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn Learning right now, we have 10,000 English language courses. You want to know about interviewing, you can just type in interview preparation, and we've got all this content on interview preps. You want to know our most recent content, you just click on newest, and you can see here that we've got new course for interview tips for marketing managers, or if you're going to be an administrative assistant, or if you're going to be doing creative jobs. These are all courses for you. And once you click on this course, it's pretty straightforward. They're all videos. There's not a heavy lift at all. You can like it, you can post it up on LinkedIn, you can do all kinds of great stuff. Again, LinkedIn Learning is about bridging a skills gap. So if you need a skill, or you're applying for a job and it's like you need this skill, you can just jump onto LinkedIn Learning, learn that course. And then when you're done with the course, kind of getting to what you're asking about before, you can, for example, this Creating Great First Impressions course, once you're done with it, click on add to profile, boom, you can add it to your profile. Super easy. The question was, how do you link LinkedIn Learning? It automatically will ask you when you log in the first time. It'll say, do you want to link your profile? You say yes, and then you just sign in with your personal LinkedIn email credentials. because your personal LinkedIn connects to the LinkedIn learning that you get. Yeah. If you get an internship experience company, how do you announce it? Oh, I think we've already covered that one. We've covered that one. Okay. What do you do if the employer searches for you and can't find your profile? Should you just link it to your resume? There's a celeb named Vanessa Morgan. I love it. So I think it's a good idea to put your LinkedIn URL in your resume. I think that's what I would do, is put your LinkedIn URL in your resume. Now, if you have a popular name, Vanessa, you do, obviously, you can edit your public profile right here, and you can click on this pencil, and you can actually change this back end. So there might not be a Vanessa Morgan that has used this. So you could actually put Vanessa Morgan, or you could put a Vanessa _. So it's up to you what you'd want to do with that. But that's what I would do for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Rebecca agrees with me. Thank you, Rebecca, for agreeing with me. I appreciate that. Awesome. I've covered a lot of information. We only have a couple minutes left. Does anybody else have a question? Or Gianna, do you want to kind of add your 2 cents? I know that I've been talking a lot, so I'd love to hear from any of you as well.
No, you covered everything. It was really great. I'm really glad I could be here.
Awesome. Rebecca, what about you?
I just wanted to add that we can support you with creating your profile or working through it. If you need help with wording or you want support with reaching out to recruiters, we can help you with all of that. I recommend making an appointment via handshake with a coach.
Cool. We got one last question, which about, is there anything in my privacy settings that I could edit that would give you a wider reach in my network? The privacy settings are really set there not to increase your reach, but to decrease it, to be honest with you, right? So the standard privacy settings are going to let people see all of your profile and all that other good stuff. I do recommend you go into the privacy settings and adjust them to what you feel more comfortable with. And we let you adjust a lot. So can people see your last name, and could be, things like that. So I would go in there to see what you're comfortable with and what data that you can put out there, because there's a lot that's there. Most people don't realize we really want to protect your privacy, and we want you to be able to handle that. So great question. Go into your privacy settings. I've got 1 second left here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over here. I should have not stopped sharing. Under your profile, oops, not even there anymore. Under settings and privacy, just click on that, and that's going to take you right to your settings and privacy. And you'll be able to adjust all of that good stuff. Tons of stuff. By the way, sign-in security, I highly recommend that you do 2-step verification, where you actually add an email address or a phone number, so that anytime you log into a new place, it prompts you to email or phone number. Cool. I think that's it.
Thank you so much. It was really wonderful to hear from you. I learned so much from your presentation, and I really appreciate it. And thank you all for attending. This webinar was recorded, and you can access it on our career YouTube channel after the fact. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.